All right. So thanks for joining us today. The webinar will begin in a few minutes. We're just waiting for people to join us. Okay. All right. So let's start this webinar. So thank you everyone for joining us today to go over our simplify your cloud practice in 2023 with Performance Cloud. Like I mentioned earlier, we're going to have a dedicated Q&A session at the end. This session is recorded, so we'll be able to send you a recording in the email that we'll be sending you in the next few days after this webinar. So without further ado, I'm going to present our panelists for today. So online we have Costa, who's our head of sales at Sherweb. He's head of sales for Sherweb Services. We also have Matt, who's the product sales manager for Sherweb Services at Sherweb. So they'll present our topic for today. And yeah, without further ado, I'm just gonna pass it over to you guys, and we'll talk about who is Sherweb for those who are new to Sherweb. We'll give you a little guided tour what we do and what we stand for.
No problem. Thanks, Roman. Thanks, Roman. So as Roman mentioned, my name is Costa Hedge Antonio. I'm the head of sales for Sherweb Services. So let's get into the next slide, Roman, so we can talk about who Sherweb is. Great. So as for those who are not familiar with Sherweb, we're an all-in-one cloud partner and solutions provider. We have three pillars of our business. One of our businesses is a full cloud marketplace that we offer multiple hand-picked solutions from Microsoft as far as an AV or MDR solution like Trend Micro. We do have additional partner services like help desk that can be white labeled for your organization, NOC services, different threat responses around Microsoft, and again, our plethora of professional services. The other side of the house, we have our own in-house hosted / managed services that can include our Performance Cloud, which we'll be talking about today, our desktop as a service solutions as well, our different backup offerings, including the one powered by Veeam, and our fully managed voice solutions around our Cloud PBX solution and our managed Teams offering. So again, these are all things that we can talk about at a later date, either with Matt, myself, or other people from the sales organization. And again, we're not just come buy a solution or come buy a product from us and bye-bye. We're an extension of your organization. As you can see, it's not just, hey, I'm going to go to a website and order a product. We're a full group from marketing specialists all the way to our product team like Matt. We have account managers and account executives that coach, that actually train and help you grow your organization and help you target specific verticals or specific product lines that you want to grow within your stack. Outside of that as well, we can help grow out your help desk for technical support. We can escalate things to our technical folks as well so that your group can do things, and we can also help with billing requests and needs. Again, there's a lot that we can do to grow your team and grow your stack while your MSP is growing. And Performance Cloud, this is one of the things that we had mentioned before. So Performance Cloud is our IaaS or infrastructure as a service platform based on VMware. So Roman, do you want to go to the next slide? And in that, this infrastructure as a service platform is a very easy, scalable environment that we've created for people that want to offer infrastructure outside of the standard hyperscalers that need a little bit more customization, a little bit more flexibility. We've built that. And again, we've built both on technology and on a pricing model. Okay, so I'm going to pass it over to my colleague, Matt, and he'll be talking about our roadmap for 2023 in Performance Cloud.
Absolutely. So we'll go to the next slide right away there. But just wanted to highlight three really cool new features that are coming to market in the year 2023. So these are things that we've invested a lot of time and effort into, and we think are going to really help you expand your cloud offering around what we can do in Performance Cloud. The first one, which is one of my favorites, is a new cloud object storage offering. So this is an S3 compatible system that you can store massive amounts of data across multiple geographies. It's also at a very low price per terabyte, which we think is extremely aggressively priced, and you can use this for a plethora of objects. Even is compatible with some of our products that are sitting next to it on the page. So leading into the second one, we have Veeam. We are excited to announce that we have some upgrades to the Veeam from Microsoft 365 platform coming in the second quarter of this year. This includes some improvements to the self-based web restore portal, which will help you, restore more workloads without having to use the Veeam backup and replication console. We're extremely excited about that. Continuing on with the trend of Veeam and our hosted services line as a whole, we are going to be offering Veeam licensing around the second quarter of this year, which is something that is extremely hotly requested. You can use that for backup or replication. You can even replicate your on-premise workloads into our performance cloud, which we'll touch upon a little bit later. So now I'll pass that back to Costa just to talk about some of the reasons why our partners love Performance Cloud.
Thanks, Matt. Roman, do you want to move on to the graphics slide, please? Okay, so the three core benefits that we do here on a daily basis from our partners leveraging Performance Cloud is the dedicated support. So we actually have our own engineering group that will build up our platform from the ground up. This is not a third-party solution. This is a Sherweb built and Sherweb supported solution. People like Matt on the pre-sale side are there to help, and we have a whole extensive team on the post-sale side for your implementations and for your questions and concerns or growth that you might need within the platform. As well, what we've done is we've created a very secure and compliant platform that meets all built-in PCI, HIPAA, SOC 2 certified requirements for all your client bases for both sides of the border on the US and Canada sides. And we've built this on a standard fixed rate. So in some environments outside of Performance Cloud, you have your monthly fees plus usage fees. What we've designed this to do is have standard, predictable monthly fees so that no hidden fees or surprises come about after a few months of usage of the platform. And Matt will get into a little bit more complexity on those things during his portion of the presentation. Oh, thank you. And also what we've built out is we've had the ability of taking in your workload on an OVH file and in that uploading it directly into the Cloud Director of VMware so that now your migrations can happen a little bit smoother than having to rebuild your whole environment. On top of that, we do leverage Veeam Cloud Connect to replicate your servers and limit cutover time. So we can actually do that. We do offer a 30-day license. So to help do that for those who do not have that resource internally. Okay, so again, we're big about support and services here at Sherweb. So we're doing a lot of these things to save time, to help reduce your IT costs. And again, our NOC support on monitoring all our environments across the board, which is again something that we'll touch upon a little bit later. We have the ability to monitor all the virtual machines within the environment and do alarms or remediation based on different requirements. And again, this is a North American offering, both offered in English and French. And again, what's good about this is our safe, reliable services will make sure that your data for your customers and for your personal use are safe and secure and meet most of your day-to-day needs, but again, the word I'm looking for, extend to your insurance company's requirements again to keep data safe and secure. Okay, so again, we're making sure there is no point of failure within that environment. So I'm going to pass it along to Matt, and he's going to go in a little more in depth about that.
Absolutely. So simplicity is key, right? We've got that written multiple times during this presentation. And I want to just quickly touch back on our NOC support. We really wanted to offer an extremely simple, easy to use way to extend our team to your team, right? No one wants to be woken up at 3 in the morning when a server is having a bad night, and we all know servers can sometimes misbehave. So by keeping 24 hours a day eyes on your servers on our end, we can proactively react to issues that pop up. We can consult with you. We can offer you a vulnerability remediation and scanning and reporting along with that helps you drive your decisions for your infrastructure as well as your business as a whole. So that's something that we see that's extremely exciting because we're able to really offer you that consultative approach. Now, continuing on to our trend of simplicity, we'll just flip to the next slide if we don't mind there, Roman. We have everything available to you in a web-based manner, and we can also do a hybrid manner where we can take on a lot of professional services for your work as well. So I'll touch upon that a little bit later as well. But what we have up on the screen here is a screenshot of our Cumulus panel. As you can see, we are editing essentially an add-on for 256 gigs of premium SSD, that's NVMe by the way, so it's really fast storage. By incrementing that number there and clicking save, these resources are available to you almost instantaneously inside of vCloud Director. You'll be able to allocate the storage to existing VMs, use it to build new VMs, or move your workloads around, right? You can do the same for any of those objects that are currently listed on that screen, right? RAM, CPU. If we go to the next slide, is a screenshot from our vCloud Director, which allows you to manage proactively and interactively every aspect of your virtual data center and the VMs within it. So you'll see here, those are the resources I currently have allocated to one of my virtual data centers inside of the Performance Cloud application. I can slice and dice those resources and build as many virtual machines within those constraints as I want. I can manage them all in a web-based manner. Now, what happens if I don't want to go ahead and click all the buttons to create a virtual machine? Well, first of all, it's an extremely easy process, and we'll pop the next slide to see that. Building a virtual machine yourself in vCloud Director is extremely easy. All you have to do is fill out this form, right? Give it a name, choose an operating system template. You can pop your own templates in. You can use any of our pre-built templates as well. But if you don't want to do that work, if you need a consultative process, our professional services group and our provisioning team can do this work for you. So one of the jobs that I do is I help coordinate the creation of our statements of works. These are for new customers or new projects onboarding. We can build your servers, build the networking, install critical facets and aspects of your environment, and essentially, just like when you buy a car, hand you the keys to your brand new cloud solution at the end of that project completion. So we're happy to offload as much of that as you want onto our team. And we'll pop to the next slide here and talks about some trends here at Costa.
Thanks, Matt. So, Roman, if we can go to the next slide, I can start looking at some trends that we're seeing. So, as we all know, part of my role and part of Matt's role, and even Roman's role, who's being the chairman of the webinar today, is we look at what's happening in the market, especially around cloud services. So we're actually seeing, based on leading market leading information, that roughly about 5.1% of IT spend is going to increase in 2023. So that doesn't sound like a lot, but then if you start breaking down the numbers, that's going to be roughly $600 billion in 2023, which is a crazy number. Growth as well for the MSPs is expected to grow around 13.5%, 13.4 to be exact, between 2022 and 2030, right? So again, that's what the market is seeing, and that's what the market is saying. And again, when you can see this, when you do Google up Grandview Research and Gartner, this gets a little bit more detail. Another strategy that we're seeing very, very common right now in the space is a multi-cloud approach. And that could be a multiple faceted in a few different ways, i.e. I'm using a hyperscaler like Azure, and I'm using a private cloud environment like Performance Cloud. And in that environment, I'm maybe backing up workloads from Azure into Performance Cloud. I'm using Performance Cloud to offset some of my workloads because of the structured or fixed rates that I'm paying, because I don't want to have those additional fluctuations in my hyperscaler, or the ability of I'm just leveraging Performance Cloud as a pure storage repository, right? And I'm doing all my workloads in the hyperscaler like Azure. So working with Sherweb, we have the ability of doing that with our Azure play and our performance cloud environments. So we can actually help build out a multi-cloud play, where I know Matt has done that multiple times with our clients. And again, with that key strategy, that gives you a little bit of a differentiator against standard MSPs that are just focusing on one type of cloud offering, right? Another thing that we're starting to see is low or no code technologies being consistently leveraged. So what does that mean? That means a turnkey solution. The ability of plug and play, like Matt had said earlier, something that I always believe is a big value that Sherweb brings to the table is virtual machines might not be your strong suit, but we have the ability through our onboarding and cloud team to build out those environments for you based on the requirements from your end users and give you the keys. And in that, you'll have the ability of extending your stack and starting to grab additional projects and needs from your client base, right? Also, as you might have noticed, we did highlight all the security functionality that we have. We are adding more and more security products, both on Performance Cloud and in Sherweb as a whole, because security is a big focus now on with ransomware, with other DDoS style attacks, with just holding your data secure, right? What's something very interesting in this as well is talent crisis. We all experience it in some facets, not just on the IT side, on the sales side, on the leadership side. And because of that, we're starting to see people grabbing resources in different parts of not just North America, but even globally, right? People that are working remotely, working from anywhere, if you want to use that term. And in that term, in that need, we're seeing a lot of more cloud-based solutions required. Something that I can be anywhere. I can be in a Starbucks and I need to grab data from my CRM. I don't have the ability of sitting behind a corporate firewall with all this, technology between me and the internet. I need to be in an environment that I can go to public internet. I still have security built into my cloud servers and my device so that I'm getting the same or even better security than sitting behind a $10,000 router / VPN. The other one is to decarbonize. So I know a lot of people are like, well, what do you mean? Are you going green? So there are a lot of organizations that want to reduce their carbon footprint, and moving to a more cloud-based environment can help reduce that carbon footprint in the sense that a lot of servers that are running in, let's say, back offices, and I'm being polite, where I've seen way too many small organizations and professional organizations that have older devices in a closet. And these devices are not energy efficient. These devices are kept together with Band-Aids and chewing gum. We're moving to a cloud-based environment. Those machines and those servers are in a multi-tenant environment, very power optimal and cooling optimal. So in that world, we're helping out to decarbonize a bit and help throw less things into the landfill. So these are topics and trends that we're starting to see in the marketplace from the tail end of 22 to the beginning of 23. Some things will start migrating or morphing a little bit differently, but these are what we see today. Okay, so as we all know, Matt is our subject matter expert for Performance Cloud and some other things here at Sherweb. So I'm going to pass this back to him so he can talk about what he can do on a day-to-day working with your account manager.
Absolutely. So, wow, I get to talk about myself a little bit, and it makes me happy. So every product at Sherweb has a subject matter expert, right? Our primary goals here are to help you onboard to our products, but also simplify that process and simplify the product positioning around that. So the first thing that I do is I help design and scope deals. If you come and you say, we have a server and it's sitting under a desk held together with, Band-Aids and chewing gum, like Costa just mentioned, how do we move that into our cloud? Is there a way that we can make this process seamless and easy? And how much of it can Sherweb take off of our plate? I'll help you research into what the best solution is, quote it, first of all, help you position that with your customer, and then go through up to the implementation phase, where I'll help you write the statement of work, highlighting exactly what we're going to do, what you need to do, and oversee when that project goes to completion. Speaking of quotations, validating and cost optimizing the quotations is also something that's front and center, especially right now. You have to have the best margin moving forward to be able to close your business. You want to make sure your pricing is always on point. Maybe you don't need the resources to be equal to what you currently have sitting in an overspec on-premise server. Can we optimize that workload and optimize your cloud solution to utilize less, drive your costs down? And that's something that we can really do as we dig deep into these environments and see what is actually running on top of them. The last one is one of my favorites, product positioning. So I like to do what I call enablement calls. These are calls with partners where a partner says to me, hey, I want to sell cloud, but I'm not 100% sure what to start asking. I can help you learn in depth about what Performance Cloud and the rest of our hosted services suite is, help you learn how to position this with your customers, how to prospect for those leads, and what to do when you have a lead come through, right? From project scoping through to completion, I'm there every step of the way along with your account manager to make sure that we're able to complete that project.
Great, Matt, thanks. So Roman, I think this is going into our Q&A session. Do we have any questions in the chat?
So yeah, absolutely, Costa. So we are in the Q&A session. So if you have any questions, just type them directly in the chat, and we'll be able to answer them. In the meantime, I just want to ask you guys a couple of questions that typically we get asked during presentations like these or on calls. So I have a couple of questions. So whoever wants to answer them, Costa, Matt, I'll just read them out, and you tell me if you're able to answer it. So when it comes to Performance Cloud, is the environment backed up, or does the client need to create their own backups?
Awesome. I'll take that one. Absolutely. So we do utilize Veeam as a backup solution, and we do bundle Veeam in with our pricing on Performance Cloud. I don't want to sell you a solution that isn't going to be backed up. Through the vCloud Director, you'll have access to a Veeam console where you can configure your backup jobs, configure when those backups are running, restore down to individual files or the entire VM. So backups are absolutely included, and they're a huge cornerstone of what we do.
Perfect. Thanks, Matt. So we have a question from the attendees. Where are your data centers located?
Absolutely. I'll take that one as well. We have multiple data centers, right? And you really do need to have multiple data centers to be able to leverage a cloud workload that needs to be close to your end user or for compliance purposes. So we have multiple facilities in Canada and in the States. So we are able to meet different geographic legislations that require those workloads be retained in a certain geography. And that's something that we experience and work through every single day.
Thank you, Matt. So can you tell us more about how someone would engage the pre-sales team if they want to discuss Performance Cloud?
Absolutely. So I'm taking all the questions off of Costa here, but when you have a cloud project, if you reach out to your account manager is going to do two things. They're going to book a call with me, and that call's going to be booked almost right away. And they're going to ask you to fill out a scoping guide. That scoping guide allows us to really try and get some of the granular technical information down, and then help us guide how that call needs to be structured. So to answer the question, how to engage the pre-sales team, reach out to your Sherweb account manager, and they're all extremely well versed in bringing us on and the different subject matter experts on to all these calls.
Thank you. And maybe I want to add just a little piece of information for those of you that are attending today and don't have an account manager. You can simply reach out to us by going to our website, sherweb.com, and just fill out the contact form under Contact Us, and we'll have someone call you and answer the questions that you might have. So guys, typically, very often we hear the following question, and I'd love to hear your answer. How complicated is it to migrate a client's current environment to Performance Cloud?
Absolutely. So easy, first of all, that's the short answer. as Costa mentioned a little bit earlier on in the presentation, we have two ways to bring workloads in, right? So you can upload an OVF file, right, which is the open virtualization format. So you can upload that right into vCloud Director. Then we have Veeam, and you'll get the trend here that we work extremely closely with Veeam and their software with our Performance Cloud product. We'll give you a license free for 30 days. You'll install that license on your virtual machine or your server that you want to bring into our cloud. Once you have it backed up, our provisioning team is going to help you restore that workload onto our cloud. And we're going to do two restorations. We're going to do one so you can log into that server, start your testing and validation to make sure everything is functional, right? Reestablish any VPN connections that may be coming up, or troubleshoot anything because the underlying architecture has changed. Once you're happy, we do another restoration, another sync or failover to ensure that the data is up to date. And then boom, you're running on the new Performance Cloud. And that's, again, something that will help you design and scope during our pre-sale sessions.
Thank you, Matt. When it comes to storage, a question often comes by is, do you offer bulk storage options?
Absolutely, we do. So we have three different storage options that we can utilize within our cloud ecosystem, right? So the first one is the new object storage that we're launching that we have roadmapped, right? That's really good for bulk application storage, something that you can access via the S3 compatible API. On Performance Cloud itself, we have two types of storage. We have SSD, which is all NVMe, super fast, highest performance, right? Slightly more expensive because of the way that SSD is. Then we have regular hard drive storage. This is something used for bulk storage, large shared drives, large amounts of data you need to host on the virtual machine that you can trade a little bit of performance for cost saving. So again, I'm going to loop this back to pre-sales. This is something that we do every single day when we look at a customer environment, is we say, okay, do you need to be running that storage on the fastest tier? Can we put it on the slowest tier, help you optimize for cost? So it comes down to that cost optimization piece.
Very good. And I know you guys previously touched upon NOC services. So what do Sherweb's NOC services typically include?
Absolutely. So NOC includes 24-hour-a-day monitoring and remediation. So we're monitoring your virtual machines. We're looking at the health of them. If an alert triggers, we are going to be, responding to that alert. That's a human response. On top of that, you have your operating system patching and updating, which is super important and something some people accidentally overlook, right? Especially these days with the security landscape being what it is, you can't have an out-of-date operating system, right? That's just like handing a piece of malware or ransomware the keys to the kingdom, right? So we keep it up to date. We also have vulnerability scanning that's available. We'll set that up for you, and we will hand you and send you a report every time that scan finds something of concern. When you have something pop up in that report, work with your account manager, work with me. We'll develop a plan to move forward and actually, remove or remediate those vulnerabilities as we go through.
Perfect. Thank you, Matt. So I don't see any other questions in our chat. So Costa, Matt, thank you both for presenting today. For those who have attended our presentation today, if you want to schedule a demo with Matt, you can either reach out to your account manager, or like I mentioned earlier, just go on our website, fill in that contact us form, and we'll get you in touch for a demo. Or if you just have some questions, Matt will also be able to assist you with those. We actually do have one more question that just came in. It says clients can do site-to-site and SLL VPN.
Absolutely. So we have the Edge Services Gateway, it's called. This is something that's actually configurable through the vCloud Director portal directly. You can also use our professional services to set that up to help you establish those connections. You can manage them all online. We can do site-to-site. We can do SSL-based. And just touching on that briefly as well, that control plane also allows you to handle a lot of the networking tasks that you would historically need a third-party appliance like a pfSense box to do. And it's also possible to run these in a highly available way. So lots of functionalities absolutely available, and we do see a lot of these tunnels still being used to this day.
Thank you, Matt. So that will be it for today. Again, thank you so much for joining us. And as a quick reminder, you will get a copy of the recording of the webinar in your email that we'll be sending you in the next few days. So thanks again for attending, and have yourself a great day.
Thanks, everyone.
Thank you, everyone.
Thank you.
Bye-bye.